Kia ora koutou katoa, and a very warm welcome to the Zappy eCommerce Summit 2025. I'm Ella Lush, Head of Marketing here at Zappy, and I'll be your MC for this afternoon. Whether you've travelled across town or across the ditch, we are so thrilled to have you here in the heart of Auckland. It's incredible to see such a packed room of marketers, founders, operators, and big thinkers, all focused on one thing: growth. This year's theme is all about crossing borders. Whether you're expanding into Oz or scaling globally, this event is packed with practical tools, expert insights, and real-world action plans. You'll leave today not just with ideas, but with actual next steps. In terms of the run sheet for today, you'll hear from 7 incredible speakers, each taking a different piece of the expansion puzzle, from compliance and tax, to TikTok and Temu, to cross-border payments, and what's next in shipping. Each speaker will present for around 25 minutes, followed by a 5-minute Q&A session. So please hold your questions until the end of each talk. We're also going to take a short break halfway through, a chance to reset, refuel, and connect. So get your notebooks ready, or if you're a millennial like me, your notes app, because we've packed this agenda with practical, strategic, and actionable insights. Let's kick off with someone who's not only helping us host this event, but brings a wealth of legal insights to the stage. Andy Luck is a commercial litigator and partner here at MC. He's here to walk us through consumer issues with a regulatory and compliance framework. Particularly important when you're taking your products or services across the Tasman. Please welcome Andy.
Right. Good afternoon, everyone. My name, it's been said, I'm Andy Luck, and I'm a partner here at MC. And today, just going to be doing a quick presentation on consumer issues from a regulatory perspective. So, what we'll cover, first who we are, Meredith Connell, then moving into what people get wrong about compliance, talking about Fair Trading Act compliance in particular there. Some key enforcement risks for businesses we're seeing, particularly through our work here for the Commerce Commission, which is one of our clients. And finally, a few tips on how to stay out of trouble. So to start with, who are we? If you came in here sort of through upstairs and down here, you might think that we are a garden centre or a cafe or maybe a conference centre. And look, to be honest, we are all of those things, but we are also New Zealand's largest litigation firm by far. It's not even close. We do everything from, if you want to sue people, if you are sued, we can help. We cover the full range of business-to-business cases and cases for government clients. And that's my practice. I have, as I say, worked for the Commerce Commission, Financial Markets Authority, and businesses who find themselves in legal action. It's also not just litigation. We've got a strong corporate advisory team, strong commercial teams for everything from property, business matters, and that sort of thing. We act for public and private sector clients, as I said, and also we've got the Crown Warrant, which means we prosecute crime for pretty much everywhere in Auckland, north of South Auckland. So what do people get wrong about the Fair Trading Act? Well, in the line of work we're in, we often come across businesses or people who have gotten themselves into trouble who think that quote up there, that I don't really need to worry about complying with fair trading and all that sort of thing, because if I'm not lying, I'm all right. And there's actually quite a lot of risk that's out there, even in cases where someone's not technically lying. And I've had a couple of quick examples up there. So what does not lying look like? Something that's technically true but gives a different impression to what's the reality. Something that might be true, but you don't know. You can't back it up. You can't substantiate it. And also things like bold headline statements, but with the truth buried in the terms and conditions. Those are all things we see regularly in our line of work. They're all places where businesses get into trouble. The key with this is to be conveying what the truth is, what the substance of it is, what you're offering, what the consumer can expect. And you've got to put yourself in the mindset of someone who is looking for your products and services. They might be in a hurry, they might be sort of not thinking about things with sort of forensic detail, just going off the vibes. How are they going to approach it coming fresh? And it is very important to get it right. There are some very strict penalties under New Zealand law for getting it wrong. They can include criminal convictions. They can also include court orders, and I'm going to go through an example of what that looks like for injunctions, matters like that, things that can put a real handbrake on doing business. So, to talk about the enforcement risks for businesses, I've decided to focus today just on the Commerce Commission's investigation priorities, both because that's something we're seeing a lot in the market, but also because one of the key focus areas is illegal online conduct, and that's a useful overlap with a lot of what's going to be talked about today. So the Commerce Commission have these things called enduring priorities and focus areas. The focus areas are where they put a lot of effort over the course of a year or two. The enduring priorities are going to be things that they always care about. Vulnerable consumers are always going to be one of those things, and also product safety. So if you're dealing with things that have a product safety standard on them, like children's toys, high-powered magnets, electric blankets, that sort of thing, things that could be dangerous or unsafe, or potentially so, there might be risk there. Illegal online conduct is quite broad, and we're going to cover off a few of these examples today. Things like fake reviews, things like misleading scarcity claims, social proof, drip pricing and subscription traps. What we've noticed and what's sort of common in all of that in the past couple of years in the compliance area is that you've had books and things like Thinking Fast and Slow and Blink and all these sort of behavioural economics books. They've hit the mainstream. People have had cool ideas reading them of, oh, we could do this, we could do this, we could sort of nudge people that way. And no one sort of takes the step back and looks at it from a compliance lens and goes, well, hold on. It's all very well and good that we're making these persuasive online sales funnels and things like that, but we're not actually thinking about it from a misleading conduct perspective. So fake reviews, there's three sort of risk areas there. I'll get to the middle one soon. First one is being selective. So you see a website, it's got some reviews from some customers, but it turns out that they only publish the good ones, right? Misleading in that sort of sense, because if you go onto a website, you see a bunch of reviews, you assume that's all of the reviews. But if it's only all of the reviews above 3 stars and up, which we have seen in some cases, with the 1s and 2 stars edited out, then that's misleading because it implies that people who have had at least an average experience when that might not be the case. We've also seen examples of websites copy editing reviews. So that's technically true in the sense that real customers did say each of these things. This is about a case we did against an operator that was operating a holiday home rental business and let people talk about their experience at the homes. So the first one there, the actual customer review, lovely old holiday home, rooms were good size and beds were comfy, had a lovely warm wood burner that the property manager got going before we arrived. That appeared on the website, but the customer also said, showers were good, hot water was terrible, small water cylinder, a lot of ants, and a few large live cockroaches floating around. Again, if I'm booking a place, I'd like to know that. It's something that an actual customer had an experience of, the website edited it out. Not lying to edit it out, but misleading. In the same way, this one, again, quite a bit more detail. I probably wouldn't book that place. Final review conduct that we're seeing is self-authoring. So this is a case where a company will instruct staff or contractors or sort of friendly people to do reviews. And it may even be that the staff have tried the product and like it, but without disclosing that connection, without disclosing the fact that they're related to the company, it gives it that sort of social proof that a stranger's doing it, that we tend to trust more than if someone says, I'm an employee and I think the company's great. So again, even if that's their genuine view, not disclosing a relevant detail, that might well be misleading. Also things like scarcity claims. So one of the big cases we have done for the Commerce Commission is against an online ticket seller called Viagogo. They are headquartered in Switzerland. That doesn't matter at all in terms of New Zealand law. We were able to sue them in the High Court at Auckland and get orders against them. This is a screenshot from one page of their website. So they are a ticket reseller. They are not Ticketek, they're not Ticketmaster, they're not a primary seller in their own right. Tickets for share are in demand. Please wait while we check availability. 5 other people viewing this event, only 40 tickets left, less than 1% of tickets left for this event. What is not said is that that's just on Viagogo, and that at the time this was recorded, you could go on to Ticketek and still find that half the venue was up for grabs. That was sort of hinted at in the little blue box there, but it was about 2 paragraphs worth of dense text that only a lawyer could read. Not good enough. This was also a loading screen so while all these messages are popping up saying tickets selling fast, you'd have wee pop-ups going, someone just bought some tickets. A wee loading screen that took about a minute to go through, except it wasn't a loading screen, it was a video, and it was just there to create the sense of pressure, the sense of scarcity, the sense that I need to rush to complete a purchase. We said that was misleading and the High Court agreed. We also said that they didn't disclose that they were a reseller. They just said, well, less than 1% of tickets available in the venue. How do they know that unless they're official? They didn't. So there can be little subtleties that trip people up here. Now, when I was talking about the consequences of this, we took Viagogo to trial, we won, and one of the orders we got was that this disclaimer has to show up on their website until further order of the court. So that's not a conviction, that's not a monetary penalty, but everyone going onto the Viagogo website now sees, by order of the High Court in New Zealand, that text, and you've got to click it away to progress with your order. So the court can mandate that you do disclosure, and I think while that's absolutely necessary when you're dealing with a trader like the Viagogos of the world, it's not something that from a seller perspective you'd ever want to have ordered against you. So how to get it right? So first point there is have a fresh set of eyes, ask the right questions. And I've put a few of them up there. Can we back up what we're saying? Do we have some basis for it? Is it true? What's the overall impression? And not from well, we know our business, we understand what we mean. Talk to your grandma, talk to someone who doesn't know what you do, ask for their first impression of what this is. Is there a better way of saying this? And I think implicit in that is, are we going out on a limb a bit? Do we sort of know this is a half-truth and being honest with you about what's happening there? And so on. Tied in with that, I've put the 3 C's there because I think that if you've got a compelling product that you've got, or service, that you've got confidence in, then there will be a credible message you can put out there that's going to be compliant as well, so 4 Cs. But it's having that faith in what you're selling that allows you to have confidence. In the cases where we've seen, like the online, like the Book a Batch site, that was one where they didn't really have confidence. They were sort of thinking, well, we've got to have reviews, everyone else has reviews, and oh, some of the reviews are bad, we won't lie, we'll just edit it back. That's a trap, and it can land you in serious trouble. I've also just put a shameless plug there. That's another way to help get it right as well.
Zhang, Managing Director of Tiger Consulting, is an expert in helping Kiwi businesses get properly set up across the ditch, from company registration to legal obligations. Please give a warm welcome to Jack.
Yeah, hi everyone. Nice to be here today. And my name is Jack. I came from Sydney, Australia. And originally, I came from a city called Guangzhou in China. So first of all, I would like to thank for MC to provide such a great venue today. And then secondly, I want to thank for Zappy. Yeah, thanks for organizing such a great event and then invite me to present a presentation here. The topic would be how to set up your business in Australia to run your own e-commerce. And then I would like to talk why Australia first, okay? Yeah, more relaxed. Why Australia? I think the location is a very good, attractive location. We are next to you in New Zealand. Secondly, we have 27 million populations. Yeah, bigger market, larger market. The third one would be, I have a gentleman over there told me that New Zealand, 1 or 2 years, 100 years ago, it was part of the New South Wales in Australia. I don't know if it's true or not, but I would tell you the truth is that if you look into the section, I believe it's section 6 or article 6 in Australia's constitution, it said that Australia have an option for New Zealand to join Australia as one country. So you can check it. I think it's still effective as of today for this option. Yeah, otherwise check with your lawyers. Yeah, however, sadly for us as Australian, New Zealander have never accepted this option. Yeah, but good for you as an independent countries. So who we are, Tiger Consulting Global. This is our banner. We are an accounting practice in China, in Australia, sorry, not China. We provide tax compliance, tax advisory, due diligence for M&A, helping people to acquire an entity in Australia or selling your business. And we also involved in some dispute, cooperate with the lawyers, including the ATO, if you have the ATO. ATO means the Australian Tax Office. Yeah. So I'm the chartered accountant in Australia. And then my background is very straightforward. I start with the PricewaterhouseCoopers 27 years ago. So I have been with the Big Four accounting firm PwC, KPMG for 16 years. And I have also worked in Europe, China, and Australia for 16 years with 2 of the Big Four firms. And then I started to run this business from 10 years ago. So this is my little bit background, chartered accountants, chartered tax advisory, and tax agent. And Tiger Consulting Global, also part of a global network called Air Tax Global. So the beauty of this network is that majority of our members, or the owners, or the staff, they are the ex-Big Four staff. So Big Four means the Pricewaterhouse, KPMG, Deloitte, and EY. So people, all the clients like us because we provide a quicker, sharper, and cheaper services to our clients. And you can see this in the past 10 years, this is what I have served for those corporations have global turnover more than $1 billion. All right, come back to the main topic, how to set up your company in Australia. That's important. The essential is, I will put the presentation pretty easy to set up the very simple structure, say one-man owned company. That's the most easier one, okay? Because when you set up the e-commerce, you can use whatever you want in Australia to do the business anyway. But for the presentation, I set up the private company, one shareholder, and one director. Remember, the director in Australia, we must have a resident or local director in Australia. That means people ask, who is the local one? Is it Australian resident or citizen? Do I need a passport? Something like that. Look, it doesn't subject to your passport or the visa. It's subject to your intention to live in Australia and your right to live in Australia. Say, from today, if you intend to live in Australia for more than 183 days, you are the local resident. Otherwise, you need to engage one person living there to be the local directors. All right, that's what I talk about, one-man firm. I show you the very simple one, that's my company. The first of all, you need to select your company's name, the full name on the left-hand side, and then you can also choose your business name, like the TikTok or Temu, something like that. Easier for people to identify your company. So first of all, we need to choose your shareholders. Remember, you can use your own company in New Zealand to be the shareholders of your Australian company or yourself. What's the difference? The difference is that for the company shareholders, you need to get a certified copy of your New Zealand corporation certificate. So if you are the individual shareholders, you have to verify yourself who you are. That means your passport, your driver license in New Zealand, and then got a solicitor in New Zealand to certify it. How to do it? You can go to whatever solicitor in New Zealand, but remember, when they do the chop or the stamp on your documents, don't use the wrong one. I highlight that one. It shows the High Court. We have the clients who get into a solicitor in New Zealand, and then that solicitor, he has 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, many stamps, and then he chooses the wrong one without the High Court. Okay, the term of High Court, very important to do the verification, because in Australia, the ATO, the tax authority, doesn't accept without this High Court. So very important. Even for the same solicitor, don't use the wrong stamp. After that, you got the shareholders, you have to nominate the director. So the director, also important to remember, you need to get the ID. We call the director's ID. I show in the image over there. It's the 15-digit identifier in Australia. That's really recently happened 2 years ago. So Australia changed the law. They ask people to get this ID first. Why? I don't know if you know it or not. 3 or 4 years ago, you can call you Michael Jackson or Mickey Mouse or whatever duck. Yeah, you can do that. Amazing, right? Why? Because in Australia, when you register your company, the authorization doesn't verify who you are. You just go online and then put your company's name and then put whatever you want, Jackie Chen as the director, put the day of birth, and you got your company immediately. Yeah, I said today, same. And then Australian government say, oh, what the hell? Why is so many Donald Trump over there as the director? And now they say, okay, before that, you need to ask for that. Ask for the director's ID. Then how to get it? Same thing. You need to send the original certified copy to the Australian government with the certified passport, driver license, or your marriage certificate. And then they verify your ID, and they issue the 15-digit number to you. And after that, you can be the director in Australia. Otherwise, it is against the law. And then the law said they can impose up to $1 million. And then you can also go to the prison for 6 months or something. All right, so you got the ID. The law also said that as long as you apply for it, that's fine. You don't need to wait. You got the number. Interesting, right? You don't need to wait to get to the number. Because Australian government doing things very slow, the standard timeline for getting this number is 45 days. So no one wants to wait for 45 days to get this number and then say, I need to set up the company today. Why? What the hell I need to wait? Yeah. So the law says as long as you submit your application. So remember, you keep the evidence when you submit your application, and then you can be the director immediately. Another one is if you luckily have the tax file number, that's fine. They can verify your TFN immediately. You don't have to submit a certified copy of your ID. All right, the next one, you got your shareholder, you got your directors, and you need the street address in Australia. If you don't have it, you have two choices. One, got a friend's house or whatever, apartments, as long as they are willing to give this to you to use, you can use it. Otherwise, you can get a law firm or accounting firm like us. You can use our address if we like it. So you need to get this street address. And after that, you get it. So it's very easy. 5 minutes, you got your company set up. And then you get this certificate. All right, this is a wrap up. First thing, shareholders, you need to get the certified copy of yourself or your companies. Remember the high court, the stamp. And then otherwise, you can go to the Australian embassy or whatever to get the certified. And then you need to get the local directors and get the certified copy of that. And you got the street address. After that, you can get an ACN. Okay, don't mix up the ACN and ABN, because last week Chinese client say, hey, we got the ABN. I say, why? How can you get the ABN? No, you don't. You don't have the ABN. They said, I have. And then I check it. No, you don't. So ACN is the Australian company number. So as long as you got registered with the Australian government, you got the ACN immediately. Right together when you register your company. The ABN is another thing. ABN is with the Australian Tax Office. So you can see the number is similar, 9 digits and 11 digits, 2 more for the ABN. Why you need the ABN? ABN is once you start your business, you need the ABN for tax purpose. So this is for tax filing purpose. If you don't do any business, you don't need to get the ABN. You don't need to do any tax filing. And then after the ABN, the tax file number is called the TFN in Australia. So this another 9-digit number. If you're doing goods and services, you need to register with the GST. It's similar in New Zealand, and we have the 10% for GST. And that's all. Once you got all this, you can run your company immediately. If you don't want to, we have number 97% Australian business, they use the tax agents. They use professional to do the financial information and the tax filings. So Australian government encourage all the business use the professional. Right. I show you a little bit about the Australian tax here. I guess it's very similar in New Zealand. We have the company income tax. We have the 25% for the income tax for small business. And then we have the 30% for the larger business. How to divide it? Roughly is if you have the global turnover less than 50 million, you are paying 25%. Remember, that's the global income, not yourself. they put all your company controlled by yourself or your companies all together, and it is 25 or 30%. It is very tricky because some kind of the foreign company go to Australia, they acquire a small company over there, and the company say we are doing paying tax for 25%, and then they don't realize that once they acquire by a very large corporation, they need to increase the income tax rate. So be careful when you do the M&A. They're doing some, that's why people want to use the EBITDA, the earning before income tax. If you use the earning after tax, be careful, because your future income will be reduced by 5% after tax. And then individual income tax, GST, FBT. FBT is something like the employee use some benefits, the company need to pay for 47%. If you buy me a dinner tonight, you need to pay for 47% for your portion of the meal. So this shows you 50 million for the 25% or 30% for the differences. So that's a wrap up. And as I said, we are the Tiger Consulting Global. We provide quicker, sharper, and cheaper services to our clients. Thank you.
If tariffs, duties, and international tax compliance makes your brain melt, like mine, you're not alone. But Stefanie Lsakidis, Head of Sales and Partnerships at Avalara, is here to walk us through what smart, scalable compliance actually looks like. Her talk, Selling Overseas is Easier Than You Think, is both a reality check and a relief. Please welcome Stefanie to the stage.
Good afternoon, everyone. I'm Stefanie. I'm Head of Sales and Partnerships for Avalara. We're the world's largest global tax compliance company. Just a big thank you to the Zappy community for hosting us today. It's a real pleasure to meet everyone. So many wonderful entrepreneurs and consultants I've met, part of the Zappy community. It's always so impressive. So today I'm going to tell you how easy it is to sell overseas. You don't need a foreign entity. You don't need, there's so many things that you don't need if you don't want to have it. You can actually just start selling. If all you have is a presence in New Zealand, then you're ready to go. So I'm going to give you an overview of the world, how easy it is to sell, with a special mention to the USA, because a lot of my clients who are from New Zealand sell into the USA specifically, and that's where they make most of their money. We'll talk about the rest of the world as well. Sales tax, GST, HST, PST, VAT, when to add all these kind of taxes to a shopping cart, when is it not needed. Sales tax compliance as well, how to stay compliant. Do you need to register? Do you not need to register? Can you just start selling? And also ongoing considerations. But in a nutshell, it is extremely easy to sell overseas. So if you're an e-commerce brand and you're on the fence and you're thinking, should I sell overseas? Should I get going? Now's the time. Call Zappy, set it up, export to the whole world. Don't let anything stop you. I'm going to show you exactly how easy it is. So the USA is one of the #1 export opportunities for New Zealand e-commerce brands. So US e-commerce grew 14% in the last year, and e-commerce is now about 15% of the total retail in New Zealand. Total e-commerce sales across the world were 870 billion. So this is a big market. So if you're an e-com brand and you haven't started selling here yet, now's the time, because there's nothing stopping you. Almost $1 out of every 5 spent came from digital. COVID was obviously a big push, and we saw globally people shifting from shopping in person to shopping online. And that has made such a difference, and that shift has stayed, and that trend has stayed. People are still online shopping, and people would rather see the duty calculated at the checkout rather than at the delivery. And I'll go through what that means, but what that, in a nutshell, what that means is the shoppers want the complete, transparent picture. They don't want a surprise at the checkout. They don't want this uncertainty. If I buy, are there going to be duties and tariffs and tax added? I'm not sure. Just tell me at the checkout what it costs so I can have a positive experience. I know what I'm going to spend and the goods will come to me quickly. So these are 5 steps for selling in the US, but it's actually the whole world. So research your tax and duty requirements. I can help you with that. It's very easy. Step 2 is register with the authorities. So depending on which country you want to sell into, you may need to register. So for example, if you want to sell into Australia, there's a threshold of 75,000 Australian dollars where you don't need to charge GST. So if you're under that, there's no need to register, you can just sell. UK, however, on the other hand, if you want to sell into the UK, you must register from day 1. And this is if you don't have any physical presence in the UK, you're not British, you don't know any British people, you've got nothing there, you operate completely out of New Zealand, and you want to sell even one single order in the UK, you need a UK VAT number. So every country have their own rules, and we can help you with that. Step 3 is to calculate the correct tax and duty amount. So most of the world have a very high threshold, and you can just start selling without having to calculate tax. So UK is unusual like that, to have a threshold of 0. Australia has a high threshold, USA has a high threshold, Canada has a high threshold, Europe, so much of the world, most of the world, you actually don't need to calculate sales tax. There's also exempt sales. So if you're a business and you're doing business-to-business transactions, a lot of those can be tax exempt. Also, for example, if you're selling a digital product, I heard a question just now about a software or a digital sale. For example, that is tax exempt in California because that's a B2B non-tangible personal property sale. So we can help you with all that. And then file and remit to the authority. So if you're selling all over the world and you've reached a threshold in each country, that's when you need to add tax to the order, collect and file returns in that country. But until then, you actually don't need to do anything at all. So an indirect tax is a sales tax. So in New Zealand, you have GST. So GST is added to everything across the board. It's a flat rate, and everything in New Zealand is either taxable or it's non-taxable. The USA is very different because each state has its own tax rate. 45 states will have a tax rate. 5 of them do not have any tax rate at all. That's why I highlight the USA. It's quite different to the rest of the world, but every country operates in the same way. They've got their GST, they've got their VAT, PST, HST, sales tax. So across the US and Canada, in a standard year, there's around 100,000 changes to sales tax every year. This year, there have been 600,000 changes to sales tax, and this is all from Trump. He's focused on sales tax, he's focused on tariff and duty. This is what he's looking at, this is what he wants to change. So in the USA, there's 13,000 different tax jurisdictions. There's 150 million mailing addresses, and would you believe, in the USA, each individual address has their own tax rate. And this is because in the USA, there's state tax, city tax, county tax, local tax, special tax. And a special tax can come at any time. So a really good example of a special tax in Colorado, a short time ago, they introduced a special tax. It was 20 cents if your item comes in a plastic bag. So if you're shipping in a plastic bag, you need to add 20 cents to every order. And if you don't do that, that comes from your pocket because you're going to be expected to remit that. So every transaction in the USA crosses some boundary. It's very different from selling in, for example, Australia, selling in Europe. Because it's flat rate in Australia, 10% GST. Whereas USA, it's very, very different. It looks almost like a kid spilt different colors of paint on a map and then smooshed it around. There's no rhyme or reason, there's no organization. And you get situations like this. This is a live example. This is Colorado. This is 2 neighbors. And look at this. Look at these different tax rates. So if you're an e-com brand, and you're shipping into Colorado, you have to have the exact coordinates of the rooftop that you're shipping to in order to calculate the correct sales tax. And if you don't do this, if you don't add the tax or you don't calculate it correctly, it's you, the merchant, that's on the hook for this tax. When this business gets audited, you would never contact the customer and say something that you ordered 10 years ago, you have to pay the tax. It's all on the merchant. So the merchant is responsible for the tax not collected. There's also a product taxability challenge. So for example, if you look at the bottom right, candy bars in Indiana, Snickers is taxable. Kit Kat and Twix, not taxable. So this was something that really stood out to me when I joined the company. I thought, why is a Snickers taxable and Kit Kat and Twix not? Kit Kat and Twix contain a biscuit, and the biscuit has flour in it. So anything with flour is considered a food. So the food is tax exempt, but Snickers bar is just peanuts and caramel. So because that's a luxury good, that's tax exempt. So each individual item that you're selling can have its own tax rate. So that's why it's really important to make sure your goods are classified correctly. So another example, in Pennsylvania, if you have a flag, it's not taxable, but if you sell it with the accessories, the whole purchase becomes taxable. So there's so many nuances with selling into different countries that you need to take care of once you reach the threshold. So in Texas, camping stoves and tents were taxable. However, candles and tarps weren't. So different types of emergency supplies, the government deemed which ones were essential and which ones were luxury, and that's why they're so different. So in New York, a clothing item or a pair of footwear, less than $110, exempt from state sales tax, but not local. So the slide I showed you before with all the different layers of sales tax in Colorado, that's one line item that would be removed for this purchase. Back to school sales tax holiday in Florida. This one is interesting. This is a government initiative. They want lingerie to be not taxable. So you can think about that, what they're trying to achieve on the school sales tax holiday there. So Nexus. So Nexus determines if you need to register your business in another country and collect and remit sales tax, or if you have no responsibility at all, no liability, and you can just start selling. So I've met a lot of startups here today, a lot of people that are just getting started selling. So if that's you and you don't have Nexus yet, there's nothing stopping you selling overseas. You don't need to worry about any of this sales tax. So I'll run through what Nexus is. So 3 of the most common types of Nexus: economic activity. So what that means, if you're a completely remote company operating entirely within New Zealand and you're shipping all over the world, or shipping to Australia, to China, Europe, USA, anywhere else, if you don't reach a certain threshold in which each country is different, then you actually have no obligation to pay tax. You don't need to register in that country. You don't need a foreign entity. You don't need anything at all. You can just ship. There's nothing stopping you. The next one is physical presence. So if you operate your e-com business out of New Zealand, but you've got a warehouse in Canada, for example, or Australia, or the USA, that can trigger Nexus. So what that means is putting a warehouse or a facility, an office, a remote employee, sending someone to do trade shows in another country, that can trigger a liability in that country. So what that means is you're no longer remote. If you've got a remote employee in, let's say, California or Australia or something like that, and that person is working for you for a while, you've got a physical presence there. So you would need to register in that country. The third way is marketplace sales. So if you do marketplace like Amazon, for example, then you need to register in that country where Amazon is holding your stock, because a piece of your product, a piece of your business is being held in another country. Even if it's not you that's selling it, that still triggers a liability. So if you've got something on this list, that would mean that you need to register. So USA is quite broken down. So each state have their own thresholds. So as a rule, if you're below any of these thresholds, and these thresholds reset every year, as long as you stay below, there's nothing stopping you from just selling to the USA. You can just put things in your warehouse. You can give them to Zappy and they can send to the USA, and you won't have any tax liability at all. As long as you don't have any physical presence there, you're completely in New Zealand, no need to register for sales tax, no need for US entity, you don't need to file US sales tax returns, nothing stopping you. You can just go. However, once you reach these thresholds, that's the time when you need to register in the USA, you need to file tax returns in the USA, and you need to add sales tax to every order, collect it and remit it. So for example, let's look at Florida, the bottom right, $100,000 per year threshold. So if you're selling into Florida and all you do is $90,000 every year, you don't need to do anything. You just put your order in the freight and send it there, and then you're done. Once you trigger a $100,000 Nexus threshold, From that point on, that's when you need to register. So you need to register just in Florida. The rest of the USA, you don't need to register because you haven't reached it yet. It's just Florida. So in Florida, you need to register your business as a New Zealand business, a Chinese business, Australian business, any business, doesn't matter, trading in Florida. No need to make a foreign entity, keep your foreign company, all good. Then we file tax returns for you just in Florida because that's all you need. You haven't triggered the rest of America. And the last step is you have to add sales tax to every order that goes just to Florida. So the rest of the USA, if they're placing orders and you haven't reached Nexus, no tax, no problem, no tax returns, nothing. Just in Florida, in this example, would you need to collect and file. It's so much easier than you think. And if you're a startup, you're a long way off these thresholds and they reset every single year. So think about that. If you want to sell overseas, don't let this fear of, I don't have a US entity, which you don't need. I don't know how to do tax returns in the USA, don't need to. As long as you're below these thresholds, you can start today. You can just start sending. Get in touch with Zappy, sell to Australia, sell to USA, Europe, any Asia, whatever you want, as long as you're below the relevant threshold in the place that you're selling to and you don't have any physical presence. So these are the things that can trigger a physical presence in a country. So if you've got an office in another country, say you've got an office in Canada, even a small office for one person, that triggers Nexus and you have to register. If you don't have that, if you operate just in New Zealand, then you're fine. A warehouse, 3PL, employees, remote employees, servers for digital products, storing inventory in a warehouse, even if it's 3PL, it doesn't belong to you, doesn't matter. If you've got stock held by anybody, then that triggers Nexus. Employee travel and attending trade shows also trigger Nexus. So if you're remote, it really is that easy. So the reason that this started is because in 2018, there was a company called Wayfair, and they were making so much money in certain American states where they were remote. And then the government changed to bring in a new law that made it possible to register and collect sales tax if you don't have any presence there. So that's the reason that now governments are starting to insist that these foreign companies collect tax, add sales tax and file tax returns even though they've got no presence there. But the thresholds are high. So this is a customs overview. So obviously cross-border tax is a very hot topic at the moment. People love talking about it. It's on the news. This seems to be Donald Trump, one of his buzzwords at the moment. Every day it seems to change. And there's so many pain points when you're shipping overseas to any country. Shipments can get delayed in customs. Supply chain costs, people are really, really worried about that they will grow or that there'll be hidden surprises. Communication difficulties, a poor user experience, customers rejecting the shipment. So you spend all this money to get the goods to Australia or to whatever country, and then once it gets there, the buyer realizes they don't want it anymore, and you have to cover that cost, and you just have to eat that. So de minimis rules. So a lot of countries, as mentioned, have a certain threshold. And as long as you're below that threshold, then there's no duty or import tax. So I actually made this slide before Trump's recent changes. It says 800 USD. It probably has changed while I've been talking. But the rest of the countries, hold. So for example, let's use the UK as a great example. So as long as what you're selling into the UK is worth less than 135 British pounds, then it's fine. You actually don't need to do anything at all. You don't need to add, there's no tax, no duty, nothing. Same as selling into Australia. If you're going to sell a $5 item, shipping from New Zealand into Australia, no tax, nothing. If you're a startup and you're just getting started, you're below the threshold, very, very easy. It's so much easier than you think. Once you get big and you grow so much that you cross every threshold, that's the time to start worrying about taxes. But if you're just getting started, you should get moving. There's no better time like now. Thresholds change all the time, but they're very, very easy to track. We can do it for you. We do it for free. And Zappy are great. They can help you, especially shipping into Australia. It's a huge market for the Kiwis. There should be really no excuse for everyone in this room. It's so incredibly easy to ship all over the world. It's so much simpler than you think. So the thresholds can apply to customs duties, import taxes, or both. They're usually different for duties versus import taxes, and every country have their own threshold. So there's no countries in the world that have the same threshold. So you have to treat each country uniquely and look at each threshold, and each threshold will be in their own currency as well for each country. So an HS code. So this is a harmonized system code. So when you're shipping your goods to any country, there's a code that's attached to that good. And it's really, really important to have the correct code. If you don't have the correct code, the goods will be taxed incorrectly, and I'll go through that next. So let's suppose you want to send this orange and you want to ship this orange around the world. So international code at the beginning. So that would be, is it a fresh fruit? Is it dried fruit? Is it organic fruit? What country is it from? Is it a citrus? Is it a melon citrus? All these things that will describe what it is. And at the end, that is the national component. So that's country specific. So if you're going to send this orange to 10 different countries, you need 10 different codes. I'm going to go over next what happens if you don't even bother with that. If you just think, oh, I'm too tired, I'm going to use the same code for everything. So if you're going to send this shoe to different countries, every country have their own code. And you need to use a different code for each country. You cannot use the same code. Let's suppose you don't do that. Let's suppose you just want to use the same code everywhere and you think, I'm too tired, or I'm going to trust my carrier to do it for me, or we did the codes 10 years ago, I don't need to replace them, anything like that. If you do that, let's suppose you're shipping this shoe into Canada. So look at this. This shoe can be classified 3 different ways. If you want to call this a ballet shoe, 0% tax. If you call it a female shoe, 11% tax. And if you call it a slipper, 18% tax. So here's the thing. If you don't put anything on the label or you put the wrong thing, what they're going to do, the law in every single country, automatically they default to the highest. So if you haven't done this on your goods, if you're not paying attention to what code you're using, you're paying 18%, and these are being called slippers, and we all know these are not slippers. So that's for every single thing. So you need a new code for every item, every country. Super important, because if you don't do this, you are throwing thousands of dollars down the drain. Not only that, you're making your customers, probably you're adding your customers to pay for this duty. Why would your customers keep shopping from you if you're going to be 18% more expensive than your competitor who's selling these for no tax or a cheaper tax rate? So this is the kind of thing that e-com brands overlook. They think they don't understand it, they don't know what it is, it's not important, someone else will do it. Take care to do your HS codes. We sell HS codes for less than $1 each. Dirt cheap, $1, and you will know exactly what the tax rate can be, and you can classify it how you think it should be classified rather than allowing the government to just tell you that it's going to be at the highest rate in every country. So this is delivery duty paid or duty at place. So if you look at the 2 checkouts, look at the one on the left. So the item total, you've got a dress and a scarf in the checkout. So for some reason, the shipping is only $20 on this, which is a bargain, but it's £153 plus shipping. If you look at the checkout on the left, see how there's customs duty and local tax as 2 lines? In this checkout, the customer up front, they know exactly what they're paying. So they can say, okay, I'm spending $153 on the dress, on the scarf, and the customs duty and local tax to go into England is this much. I'm going to pay it right now, and then the items will go straight through customs. They won't get held up. The customer won't get contacted to say, you owe money to the border because we need to collect the local tax and the customs duty. The order will go straight through. On the right is DAP, that's duty at place. So what that means, if you're sending this order into England, you haven't collected any tax. See, there's no tax at the checkout. There's nothing there. It just says the item total and the shipping. And on your website, you can put a little blurb that says tax is the responsibility of the customer. So when that order gets to the border, they're going to get contacted by the UK government to say, you owe tax and duties for this. What's going to happen to that customer? They're going to get so upset. They're going to say, I paid £170 for this. Why are you asking for more money? I didn't know about this. You didn't tell me how much it was. Now you're telling me I owe £38. I didn't know about that. I don't want to pay it. Send it back. Abandoned cart, and merchant has to pay to send that back. So you've had to pay to ship the order overseas, hold in that foreign warehouse and sent home. So that all that has done is cost you money. You've lost from that order, you've lost. It's so much more worthwhile to give your customer the upfront transparent information of having the tax upfront. So so please get in touch with me if you've got questions about selling overseas or you want us to help you calculate the duties upfront on your invoice. We can sync with any system that you're using, Shopify, BigCommerce, Xero, Mile, whatever you have. If you want the tax and duty on the invoice for any country in the world, we can help you. We also have a free service for startups that covers certain states in the USA. It costs you nothing to get started, and the tax and duty, everything will be upfront. So you want to reduce your manual effort. You don't want to be researching for every single order. Am I above or below the threshold? What's the tax? What's the duty? How to classify this item? What do I do? You want an automated system. You want to improve your accuracy of tax calculations. So taxes change all the time. They've probably changed while I've been talking. So because of that, you need a system that's really on the ball. If you don't have a system, then get a really, really good accountant to help you, because this is something that really needs to be taken care of. And if you don't take care of it, you're going to be paying more tax than you need, and you're also going to be charging your customers too much. So we are a global company. We can help you ship anywhere in the world. We're the largest global tax compliance company. So anything you need, I'm going to be around at the networking event, even if you just have general questions, you're not sure how to get started, you want to start selling overseas and you don't know. I would really love anyone to please come and meet me. I'm here to answer any questions you have. We've got 50,000 customers. We can do everything that you would ever need to get your business started. But most important, what I wanted to highlight today is how easy it is to get started. As long as you're below the threshold, if you're a startup, please start today. Get in touch with Zappy. Tell them you want to ship with overseas. It's so much easier than you think. Don't think you need entities or lawyers or any of this kind of noise. You can just start. You, as a New Zealand company operating remotely into all these countries, you can do it today. So thank you, everyone. Thank you so much.
Welcome back. If you think TikTok is just for dance trends and chaos and secret lives of Mormon wives, spoiler alert, it's one of the most powerful conversion platforms in the world. Tracy Way, Senior Partnership and Marketing Manager at TikTok, is here to show us how Kiwi brands are winning big with short-form content and how you can too. Please welcome Tracy.
Thank you. Thank you, everyone. Hope you all have a good day so far. Okay, still awake? Okay, cool. Understand. All right, just a quick self-intro. I'm Tracy from TikTok. Pleasure to be here giving you this TikTok 101 presentation. Before we kick off, just want to have a quick mini live market research. Hands up if you have downloaded TikTok app in your phone. Okay, good. Good to see. And keep your hands up if you have ever tried to run TikTok ads. Or have you tried? Actually put it live. No one? Okay, 1, 2, great. May I know why you haven't started?
We can't even register.
Oh, okay. Have you tried?
Yeah, it's not available for New Zealand entities.
Oh, TikTok Shop. Yeah, we're talking about different things. So TikTok Shop is not available in Australia and in New Zealand yet. And we don't know when it will come. Not next year, maybe potentially 2027. So currently we are trialing TikTok Shop in Japan. So they will be live in August. So if they perform good, I think we're gonna have Shop. Maybe in 2 years' time. Let's see. Okay, so I understand TikTok can be a bit like confusing or overwhelming, but this is exactly why I'm here today. I will walk you through how TikTok ads work, why TikTok, and what would be the best performing content, and of course, how much you need to set it live. Cool. Just housekeeping before we dive in. Don't stress about taking pictures or notes. We will share the slides with you later. And feel free to drop me any questions whenever you need. I want to keep this fun and keep you guys awake, basically.
Australia comes earlier than New Zealand, is it?
Shop?
Yeah, TikTok Shop.
We don't know yet. But usually that's the case because Australia is bigger. Cool. So first question, I think that's the biggest question. Why TikTok? Why as a business owner need to consider leveraging TikTok as a way or as a marketing channel to drive growth? I guess the short answer is because we have your audience here. So here are some like a fancy number. Sorry we got the latest update, but this is just for references for Australia. But New Zealand would be slightly smaller, but usually we just update Australia as AUNZ. So overall, this is a total number. Monthly active user, we already hit 10.7 million. So it's a huge number. And overall, every day, it's not just about massive reach. Every day they spend 90 plus minutes on the platform. So this one haven't been updated. Actually, the latest number is 137 minutes now, every day. So they spend a movie time over 2 hours scrolling and watching videos. And it's not just about the massive reach, it's also business. We have over 350,000 business on TikTok, trying to reach new audience, interact with users, and promote their business. Hopefully one of you will be part of this. I will skip this. And if we break it down into this generation, different generation, we can see 95% of Australian aged between 18 to 35, they are actually on TikTok. And almost like half of the Australian adult are on TikTok too. Hands up if you think your business are targeting 18 to 35. Cool, great. So then I would highly recommend TikTok because basically we have 100% of them actively using on TikTok. And if we break this user into the different generation, yeah, of course, it's more for Gen Z. We have 42% of people aged between 18 to 24, they're Gen Z. But if you take a closer look, that also means almost like 60% of users on TikTok, they're already over age of 25. And a quarter of them are actually over age of 35. So it's not just a like dancing, funny, stupid platform for Gen Z. It's actually, people having the purchasing power. They're spending over 2 hours time on this platform, consuming content. And this gives us average age on TikTok users are 32 now. It's not just 18 or 22 young kids. Again, this is a perception we try to promote and educate people because majority of the business, the main reason why they haven't stopped because they think it's irrelevant to their business. We want to target higher purchasing power group of people. They are actually on TikTok now. Yeah, again, this highlights the timing. This is the latest number. So you can see the comparison with different social platform. Average YouTube will be 75 minutes, whereas TikTok sitting at 137 minutes. Any question or issue so far? All good? Okay. And this chart is very interesting. So TikTok is not just this diverse and massive user base. Is actually unique to TikTok. So this chart means 48% of TikTok users is unique to TikTok. They can be reached through Facebook. 34% of TikTok users are unique to TikTok. They cannot be reached on Instagram. How many of you are actually running paid ads on Facebook and Instagram? Cool, okay, majority of you are. So basically that means you're missing an opportunity because 48% of TikTok users cannot be reached on Facebook. If you're only running ads on Facebook, that's a missing opportunity for you. And now we can quickly run through TikTok ads, like how it works, what does that mean? So basically we have different position for you to promote your business. This top view one will be the most like the luxury and most expensive. So whenever you open TikTok, there may be some big screen showing some business promotion, and that's the most expensive one. You need to reach out to TikTok team if you have an account manager to actually get your business whitelisted to be able to shown on that top view. But overall, like these in-field ads, if you just open a TikTok ads manager, you can just set it up yourself. Once your ads account get approved, that's where you gonna, like where people will see your ads. We call it For You feed, if that's something new. It was a new word for me, For You feed. Cool. And in terms of targeting, we have different targeting objectives to help you to reach different funnel, say from awareness, consideration, interaction, conversion, and loyalty. For example, if you just want to raise brand awareness, we have the campaign objective to help you to achieve that. So basically, when you have your TikTok ads account manager set up, you can set the objective as reach, frequency, or reach. So we will help you to raise your brand awareness. And later, when people already get familiar with your brand, you want to drive consideration and interaction. So we have, say, for example, traffic or community interaction or lead gen objective to help you to fulfill this objective. And then consideration, loyalty, that would be conversion and a product sale. For example, you are running a homeware or a pet product online, and then you can set up as conversion. We will help you to drive people to see your ads, land on your page, and then add product into the purchasing cart and then complete the conversion. I know this sounds a bit complicated, but it's all good. As long as you know, we have different targeting objectives to help you to reach the right audience through the right channel with a reasonable, cost-effective money. But if you have any question in terms of how to set it up, we have our one-on-one account manager can help you to walk through the whole process. So don't worry about it. And again, if you are familiar with this targeting objective, see, we can target people based on their gender, age, location, device, language, and also like the interest, what interest they've shown. Maybe they're interested in financial products or like pet product or baby product. We can target this group of people on TikTok based on their interests. And again, like the lower funnel would be more advanced targeting options. We can go through that later. Okay, I will skip through this because we have a big content to go through. And I will jump into this fun part, creative. I understand the majority of business, they haven't started because of they don't know what to post. Because obviously TikTok is more like video driven, so it's significantly different from Meta. You can just post a text over a picture, that's done. But TikTok, we would prefer you to post short video, and it's so different from other platforms. So I will show you some creative code that can help you to structure your video in a way that have higher chance to see success on TikTok. And again, this chart is just to highlight how important creative are to help you to stand out. Actually, the one that I mentioned previously, the way we set up or even the budget is not the key to see success. The creative, what video you are posting on TikTok is the key metrics and one of the most important things that can set you apart from your competitors. This is because our TikTok platform algorithm, our recommendation system is built on different system. So for Meta, which is Facebook, they are mainly built on social platform, which means the more followers you have, the higher chance your content will be seen by users. Whereas TikTok is content. So that means even if you have 1 or 2 followers, but you post a really good content, we will push your video to users. You got the chance to be seen by users. That's exactly why lots of SMB are seeing huge success among big brands like Nike or even Apple, because they post a very engaging and a native video so that their ads performance can actually outperform these big brands. This is a huge opportunity for SMB. Great. So what exactly is a good creative, good content? Here's the 6 codes or creative tips that's generated by our marketing science team and a creative director. So basically what they've done is they use the AI algorithm and their experience. They studied like tons of good top performing ads, and then try to decode them, demystify this success into this 6, I will say, tick box. So if you tick 6 of them, it's high chance for you to see success. I will walk you through them one by one. So the first one means first frame hook. So what does that mean? That just means basically when people see your videos, you only get 2.5 seconds to get their attention. If you perform well in that 2.5 seconds, people will stay. If it's really bad or like you want to save the best part later, if it's like 5 seconds, like you won't even have the chance to show people because people will just scroll up. I actually got a video here. Not sure if I can play it. Yeah, this is an example.
As you can see, people are lining up for our new double-decker pizza. Your favorite classics are now decked out to the max with cheese on top and gooey, stretching, melting cheese below. Grab yours today at your local Pizza Hut. Mr. Hut's got you covered.
See, this is a brilliant example how Pizza Hut are doing this first frame hook. So you can either use visual surprise or suspense or like get some emotional trigger in that first 2.5 seconds, basically to keep people watching. And the second one would be attention triggers. This is a fancy way to see, this is an editing technique, I will say, editing techniques that you can keep people watching through. So basically, the first hook, Frank, you keep people staying, and then what else you can do to keep them watching through the rest of like 10 or 20 seconds. You can achieve this through, text layout or background music changing or like changing the scene. Lots of techniques you can use to keep them watching. Here is an example of one of the most successful brands on TikTok. You can see how they achieved it.
I'm Sarah, and you may know me as the Ice Facial Girl, or the girl that invented the contour cube. And that's all thanks to my mom. She used ice cubes with her hands, but it was cold, slippery, and messy, so it gave me an idea. So I put 2 and 2 together and created the contour cube, making facial icing easy. And she loves it. So now I make it for everyone, and that's all thanks to this one. Thanks, Mom.
You see, this is an example. They engaged about the background music changing and text layover and some flashing light bulb just to try to grab your attention.
Hi.
And the next one will be native creative. I really like this term, fitting to stand out, because your ads will be shown in the For You page. So basically people are looking for entertainment content. You don't want to look like so obscure, oh, hey, this is a commercial ads. People will not stay. So the overall direction will be to have your commercial, your ads look as native as possible, which needs to be educational or entertainment focus. For example, this one.
Right, make sure you get ones that, cover your eyes. What? They need to actually cover your eyes. I don't want a minuscule triangle shape. Here. Okay, Dad. The circumference needs to be generous. Okay, Dad. Protect your retinas. Okay. Ooh, I like these. Yeah, that's quite a rich colour. Give them here. Right.
See, this is just a quick example. You wouldn't tell it's an ads, right? But it actually is from a sunglasses brand. And they displayed the brand and then the product a lot.
All right, make sure you get...
And another one will be product demo. We really want to promote you to show your product instead of tell them how good it is. It sounds straightforward, but many businesses fail to do that. So we want you to, if you are selling any physical product, we will highly encourage you to either use your founder to display or demonstrate how the product works, or engage some influencer or even just random people that doesn't need to have a big followers, just to play around with your product to show them how does that work. This is a previous outdated demo I wouldn't show you, but I recommend you to search July, the suitcase brand, July. They actually have done lots of product demo, and it really generates lots of interest and likes and follows that actually boost their Black Sale promotion, like 200%. And this is the last one, but not the least one, call to action. You may think it's straightforward, but many businesses forget to mention that. After all these efforts, you want to make it really clear. So what you want them to do next. This is what we call call to action. You want them to take action after watching all of these fancy videos. There is an example from Eubank, and you may find these videos obscure, but it's actually does its magic. Oops. All right. Anyways, this one doesn't play, but you can search Eubank and you'll see it's just the strange frog dancing and then saying, what we ask is $20. Just keep repeating that. It's just so out of nowhere, but they just keep asking $20 and download the app. That's a call to action, to download the app. Oh, actually we got one more creative code to follow through. That's trends. I'm not sure if you guys are aware of, there are actually so many different trends happening every day on TikTok. Anyone know any trends right now? Right. Labubu is a trend, but it's not a big trend on TikTok yet. So previously there's a one, what is the song like? The finance guy. Anyone know that? 6'5", blue eye. Yeah. No, well, you guys are not on TikTok. So there's trends happening every day, and some businesses are smart enough to tap into these trends because these trends have lots of followings. So business try to leverage these trends to promote their brand. I'm not sure if this one can work. Oh yeah, see if this one works. Yep. Yeah, so this is one example how Duolingo is leveraging the trend. And I don't remember the exact statistics, but the play, I think it's hit 100 million plays. This is another example. Yeah, this is an industry clothing brand leveraging this trend to promote their brand.
I'm looking for a man in
Ooh.
finance. Trust fund, 6'5".
Yeah, basically every day we have different trends going on. I understand it can be overwhelming. You don't know where to follow up this trend. I don't know how to leverage this trend to promote. So I actually have some free tool for you to find what is the latest trend and how to leverage it. So the first one will be TikTok Creative Center. This is a free website. Basically, if you Google TikTok Creative Center, you will find it. And this is a public free website where you can follow, see for example, this one, top ads and the trend. Wondering what's hot on TikTok, the middle one is where you can follow these trends. And they can even show you, for example, I want to know, it's based on country, so New Zealand, and the industry will be fashion brand, and what is the top performing trend or ads. So literally you can just watch through and follow them to see how you can implement these trends or creative ideas to your brand. I would highly recommend you to, before start even $100 on TikTok ads, you spend 10 minutes on this platform just to get the rhythm of what the platform is all about. Great. So now you have the creative ideas. If you still don't know how to structure your ads, there's a cheat sheet, creative structure. So basically, in the beginning, the first 3 to 5 seconds, you want to have a hook, killer hook. That's the one that I mentioned about this attention trigger. And then for the next 10 to 20 seconds, you want to highlight your unique selling point. What's this all about, why it's different, and what problem you are solving from your business or from your brand. And last one, you need to have a clear call to action to tell them what to do. Either like follow us or check our website or just purchase, like try this latest release of your product. Cool. But when you add this duration, you can see it wouldn't longer than 30 seconds. And that's the duration we recommend. Don't create like a 3-minute fancy commercials or ads. You just need 30 seconds. It can be your founder just holding the phone doing random stupid things, but it will work. Cool, and another tool I would recommend you to play around is Symphony. It's basically TikTok AI. I know you guys must be familiar with ChatGPT. So basically, this is TikTok ChatGPT. You can ask them, hey, I'm a fashion brand. I want to create 3 videos to promote my summer clothes. Give me some idea. And they will create the draft for you. The main difference is ChatGPT, they wouldn't have the internal data of TikTok ads. But this one, it's connected, sync with our internal database. So they will know what's performing well and give you the feedback. Cool. And we also have this, it's TikTok Marketplace. If you still feel confused, I don't know what to do, like this tool looks too complicated still, and I don't have time. We actually have these marketplace creators. I just got noticed we have an offer. So if you spend $2,000 on the ads, just purely run ads on TikTok per month, the TikTok Creative Center, they will work on the creative and provide 10 creatives per week for you. That's pretty amazing because usually if you reach out to any creative agency, they charge you a lot. Cool. And another one will be editing tool CapCut. In Chinese, that's 剪映. I'm not sure if you know that. Yep, that's CapCut, English version. But it's just an editing tool, user-friendly. You can just edit your own thing. Cool, now let's talk about money. Budget recommendation, how much you need to make this fancy thing happen that I mentioned before. So the minimum daily spending would be $50 per day. That's the minimum requirement to allow you to set your ads live. But to see meaningful results, it really depends on what you want to achieve. It's definitely more than 50 per day. But overall, we will need 4 weeks to allow enough data to see how we can optimize your ads performance. So the actual recommendation would be if you know your CPA, so your daily budget needs to be 10 times of your CPA. CPA stands for cost per acquisition or cost per action. So for each business, it's different. If you're selling a technical gadget, that'll be cheaper. Cost per action will be, say, if it's $20 or $50. Say, for example, put it into a certain extreme case, if you're selling cars, of course, your cost per action will be more expensive. So 10 times that will be different. And the benefit of having a higher budget is faster the learning, so you get more data. Obviously, the algorithm, the platform will know your brand, know your potential customers better, so they can convert better, basically. They will deliver result faster. And I won't go through this about how to create your TikTok Ads Manager, but it's pretty straightforward. Basically, you go to the website, TikTok Business Ads Manager, and just like register any other social platform. Put in your name, phone number, and then you will create your ads account. You can start to run ads. Cool, and adding your billing information. And that's it. And the last one, I have a survey, and also if anyone is interested in getting one-on-one account manager to help you to set up your ads account, or if you have any question, you're not sure if TikTok is the right platform for you, fill in that form and we will reach out to have a free consultation. And the second, if you are interested in claiming the creative offer, again, the creative offer is really amazing. Spend $2,000 per month, you will get 10 creatives created by TikTok team per week. That means like a month you have 40 creatives. That's insane. I think it's too good to be true. So I triple check with our internal team. It is true. Cool. Any question? Yes?
When you say creatives, the advertiser still needs to provide the content, right?
No, you need to provide just a brief. Say I am a clothing brand.
Send you the product.
No. They create it for you.
But don't they need the product?
Yeah, they can shift if it's a physical one, if it's a service, you just let them know, okay, my main selling point is ABC and I want them to do like register, blah, blah, blah. And then they will just create the creative for you. If you're selling physical thing, you will need to shift this to specific address and they will just do the product demo for you. Yeah. So there'll be a real person. It's not an AI generated. There'll be a real person, a creator, just wear it. Oh, I recently got this. It looks so good, and I recommend. They will just create the video and then send it back to you. And if you approve it, you can just publish it directly to your ads. If you're not happy with the product, you can just write feedback. Oh, I think she needs to be more exciting, blah blah blah, and then they just back and forth until you're happy with it. Yes.
TikTok is strong in B2C business, but with B2B, do you have stats for that?
Not here, but I can share with you. We are actually focusing on B2B, especially non-com business right now. So there will be some specific product feature that will be more relevant to help B2B business to see success. Yeah. Yes?
When is TikTok shopping going to be available in Australia and New Zealand?
So it's not available yet, and we don't know when it will come. Japan has about to launch it in August. So if they perform good, we probably will see it. Because in TikTok, Australia is part of Japan and Korea. So if Japan goes first, it's performing good, I think we will see it very soon. But not anytime next year.
We've got one more question, I think it's about.
Yeah,
Yes.
my question is quite related to the shop. So what's the conversion rate? If it's not linked to the shop, and we can see that the TikTok have a high influence but low conversion rate. It's have less influence or effect to our team as a brand or as a sales team.
Okay, so it really depends on which vertical you're talking about, and also the creative matters a lot. We've seen so many big brands, good brands like SMB brands, they are only focusing on TikTok and they spend lots of time creating the good creative and the conversion is actually good. So when you see difficult, it will be, if you just start on TikTok and I want to see conversion, that would be hard. So that's why we recommend the full funnel strategy. So from the beginning, because people don't know who you are, what your brand is all about. So we would recommend to do the top funnel campaign first. Just, maybe some founder doing some fun video about the company, about the culture, about the product. And then people start to know, okay, your brand is doing, for example, pet food or whatever, and then gradually move down to conversion to demonstrate your food, like how happy the dogs are after eating this. And then, say for example, during Black Friday or Cyber Monday, and then you promote the sale, you will see conversion happen there, but not just, okay, buy us, it's $20. You wouldn't see conversion from the very beginning. But so gradually, if you design it very well, you should see conversion. And also for each funnel, each stage, the creative should be different too. Yeah, the style should be different.
Have the choose and effects based on best practice.
Yeah, we have the best practice, and also depends on which industry you come from, and the best practice would be, FMCG is actually the most popular vertical. Yeah. That gentleman mentioned non-commerce would be, to be honest, a little bit hard, but commerce is like the booming, the best performing vertical, and FMCG, fashion, home living are the top performing verticals among commerce vertical.
All right, thank you so much.
Cool, thank you.
Now let's talk money, because what's the point in scaling if you're going to lose it all in conversion fees? Jin Wang, Head of Partnerships from WorldFirst, will break down how to manage cross-border payments, currency risk, and global profit protection. Give it up for Jin.
I'm Jin Wang from WorldFirst. I'm the Head of Partnerships. So please don't confuse me with our last speaker, who is also Jin from Temu. We are like same. Our names, like in English, they are the same, but actually they are different characters in Chinese. And obviously, we look very different, in appearance. Okay, so let's go back to the serious part. So may I ask, how many of you have ever heard about WorldFirst? Oh, wow, that is unexpected. Okay, wow. Okay, onto Google. Yeah. So how many of you are selling to international markets, like other countries? Oh, okay. Okay. And how many of you are using bank to collect or pay to your overseas suppliers? Using like bank. Okay, cool. I'm really surprised. Like normally the last two questions will be like more people will hands up, and the first one like nobody here heard about WorldFirst. Okay, so let me just introduce our company a little bit. So WorldFirst, actually we were founded in 2004. So basically we're British, and in 2019 we were acquired by Ant Group. So maybe you haven't heard about like Ant Group. Actually, our brother company, like the most famous one, they are Alipay. If you ever like travel to China, like you may have heard about that, because it's like every Chinese, they are using Alipay to pay for everything, like food delivery, like metro, and online, offline shopping, everything basically. So they are the most famous brother on the Ant Group. So for WorldFirst, we are more focusing on SMBs to do cross-border transaction. Yeah, and yes, we were founded like in 2004. So far we have like more than 20 years history, and globally we have more than 1 million users, especially cross-border sellers that are using us. And until like half a year ago, our total payment volume has achieved 300 billion, which made us the cross-border, like #1 cross-border payment service provider by total payment volume. And now we have 32 global offices, which means like each of our clients, of our customers, we have a dedicated, like a real person, not a chat box, like not AI chat box, to serve them. Okay, so what do we do? Basically, we are doing like collect. We help you to collect money from like marketplaces or like buyers, and we help you to pay to overseas like suppliers. And we help you to convert with a competitive rate, and we help you to manage like different, like multiple currency bank account. I know that doesn't make any sense to you, right? I will elaborate it like in my following slide. Okay, so first of all, we help you to collect. So actually now we can help you to collect like 21 currencies, and we can help you to set up like local bank account in 15 countries. Like maybe someone of you may ask why the two numbers are different, like 21 currency, but 15 countries. Why? It's because, let's say, because, for example, we can help you to set up like a Hong Kong bank account in Hong Kong, JP Morgan. So they can help you to receive not only Hong Kong dollar, but also like CNH, like Chinese yuan. So that's why like the currency, like we support 21 currency collection, and also like in 15 countries. We are helping you to set up your local bank account with local currency. You can do business just like a local business. Okay, it's really fast and without any opening fee. And see, this is our user portal, like the demo. So this is like a screenshot of my test account. I set up like 5 receiving account. And let's say, for example, like when I click my AUD account, what we are offering you, a local AUD bank account with local bank details. See, like BSB account number, and also the bank name is like in Sydney, a branch, and also the from Citibank. So it's like similarly, like if you are opening a NZD, like it's also based on Citibank. And if you are opening a USD bank account, it's like in JP Morgan, in a branch in New York. This is how we help you to collect like local business. And then payment. So we can not only help you to collect from overseas, like just like local business, we can also help you to pay to your overseas like suppliers. Like we can pay, like we can support more than 100 currencies like local pay, and with a really transparent fee. And most of the payments are processed like within 1 day. Let's say, for example, if you want to pay to your overseas like supplier, and what we charge you, like many of you may ask, like what's the fee for that? So there are like several scenarios. First of all, if you are paying to a WorldFirst account, that is instant and totally free, just like Alipay to Alipay, like instant, and there's no charge. But if you are paying to a third party, like a bank account in another country, we will charge you 0.4% transaction fee, but capped at $15. So that is like maybe really competitive compared with maybe a local bank account. So if you are, let's say if you are transferring a money, like a pay to a supplier, maybe in USD, from NZD to USD, there are two parts we are charging you. One is the conversion fee, that I will explain in my next slide. The other one is the transaction fee, which is like 0.4 and 15, yeah. Okay, next one is convert. So for convert part, our rate, we will use the live rate, and every 10 seconds we will get refreshed. And so normally there are several scenarios. For example, we help you to set up like local bank account with you're collecting money, let's say like from globally, you have like money in different bank accounts. And when the FX rate is in your favor, you may want to like transfer the money from, let's say, USD to your NZD bank account, right? But there's another way. You can do some hedging. We can help you to lock in your target rate for 1 day, 3 days, or up to 2 years. So you don't need to, which means you don't need to have funds in your account. We just charge you like a 10, not charge, it's just a 10% deposit. So you can lock in the rate for up to 2 years. That will help you, first of all, to protect your margin. And also you can forecast your profit accurately. That's what we can do. Yeah, and also we also have a dedicated person to help you to watch your like target rate while you are busy with like you're sleeping or busy with other things. We can help you to lock in your target rate on our end. Yeah, this is the convert. Okay, so go back to convert fee. What we are charging, it really depends on different like different currency couple, but we capped like 0.6%. So you can do a comparison, because I believe like in some like a bank account, maybe they will charge you like 3 to 5%. But if you use us, we capped it at 0.6%. That is the standard like pricing. Yeah. Okay. So besides all these basic functionalities, I will just introduce like two of our special products. One is our World Card. We collaborate with MasterCard to launch our own debit card, which is World Card. It's a virtual card, and with like multi-currency, and it's widely accepted. And the cashback part I will introduce later. So basically, the funds you are using is from the balance that I showed, like screenshot, like in different multiple currency account. Yes, you are using that balance to use this card. And I think the good thing for this card is actually you can bind this card to your, let's say, Alipay. They accept us. So if next time maybe you are traveling to China, you bind this card with your Alipay, basically you can do everything. You can pay everything like in China. Yeah, this is the card. And this is the demo. In our user portal, when you click like World Card, it's just with one click. So you can open your World Card, which is also free. There's no any other charge for card opening. And we can grant you a virtual card like MasterCard. You have like your own like card number and CVC and like a valid date. So you just like input all this information. We are doing like online shopping, so they can deduct the money from the balance. This is how it works. Yeah. And the next product is 1688. I'm not sure, have you ever heard about 1688? Okay, so it's like a Chinese version Alibaba.com, because like many people, they will like source products on Alibaba.com, right? 1688 is more about like internal, like within like China people, if you are online seller people, you can source from 1688. And all the listings like are offered by those manufacturers directly. So if you want to source, you can also use 1688. But one of the blocker is those manufacturers in China, they only accept CNY, Chinese yuan. So it's really hard for you to pay to them. You know, like pay to China is always like a really headache for many sellers. Yeah, but since we all belong to like, historically, like we are same group with Alibaba.com, with Alibaba Group. So that's why like actually 1688 can accept a WorldFirst user. So if you have a WorldFirst account and you want to source like your products or like your packaging from 1688, you can pay directly via WorldFirst. This is like really convenient and really efficient. Okay, so basically, we can provide like really easy usage and a really fast service. And that's one I want to emphasize is secure, because many people, when they hear like our service, they always like feel like, okay, are you safe? Are you secure? My answer is yes, of course. But I want to explain more like why we are safe. Because first of all, we only collaborate with those tier 1 banks. So actually all of our products or our service, they are provided not by us. Fundamentally, they are provided by those banks. That's why, like when you have a close into like your WorldFirst account, like different currency bank account, they are offered either by Citibank or JP Morgan or maybe Barclays. So it's there, they are providing you with those services. So of course they're safe. And also many people ask us like why your FX rate is so like low, maybe you are not safe. Are you doing anything dodgy to get that low price? So my answer is, I just want to explain this logic to you. It's really simple. Like before I entered to fintech industry, I feel like, oh, it's so hard. But for this part, it's really easy to understand like commercial logic. Is we bulk buying FX from those banks, and then we are reselling them to you guys. So that's why we can get like really good rate. Because if you are directly asking for a better rate directly from a bank, they won't give you. So we are helping those banks to take care of their long tail clients. That's why we can get like better rate. So now, are you feeling better? Like I'm not a fraud, right? Yeah, this is our service. And last, we have some like a special offer for today's clients. We got like 50 USD cashback if you register today via this QR code, and also like input the invitation code WFPA. So once you receive like at least 50 USD dollar, like or equivalent to any other like a currency, and made your first payment with our World card, like no matter how much is it, we can directly give you 50 cashback to your balance account. Yeah, and for long-term rewards, for our World card, like we offer like 1% cashback for all the international spending. There's no limits, no hassle, so everybody can just have a try.
And now it's only right we hear from the person who kicked all of this off, Jimmy Wu, founder and CEO of Zappy. He is the driving force behind reshaping how people ship, connect, and grow online. He is here to share a future-focused keynote on the selling and shipping tech stack. Please welcome Jimmy to the stage.
Thanks, Mela. Hello, good afternoon. This year's topic is about selling and shipping in Australia. So I'm going to talk about some tech stack, and I'm not going to bore you with a lot of AI because I think you probably get sick of hearing the word AI. So I'm not going to say too much about that. It's just some simple out-of-the-box solutions. So first of all, why Australia? I think some of the earlier guests have covered that. Australia is, the e-com market is 10 times the size of New Zealand. And it's 5 times the population, but twice as many people in Australia shops online. And we have a similar time zone, and we culturally similar, and we speak the same language. And we are in close proximity of each other. And also don't forget, we have a free trade agreement, so a lot of the stuff that you be shipping to Australia would not incur a tariff. And also Australian also likes the New Zealand brands, they trust the New Zealand brands. And finally, Zappy is now in Australia, so we can help you guys if you're interested to sell in Australia or around the world. Let's talk about failures. So, over the years, a lot of well-known big retailers from New Zealand have tried to enter Australia, and they have failed. So let's learn about their failure and why they failed. So the Warehouse Group, unlike in New Zealand, the Warehouse Group had strong distribution network. In Australia, because the vast geography, that makes the supply chain costs a lot higher, and they failed to secure a good prime retail location because a lot of the prime locations are already taken up by the big retailers over there like Kmart's and Big W's. And also they couldn't match the competition and the bulk buying powers of the likes of Kmart and Big W. Pumpkin Patch is another one. They opened too many stores and they did it too quickly. Again, when you're opening a lot of store, that's associated with high rent costs and operation costs. And again, they got strong competition like Cotton On Kids. Dick Smith is another one. I don't know if you guys still remember Dick Smith. Basically the problem was they are loaded with debt and they had poor inventory management. They stock a lot of outdated electronic goods at high prices, and they couldn't compete with the like of Amazon and JB Hi-Fi because they offer better pricing and online convenience. Pesco is another one. They were struggling to differentiate themselves from the like of Michael Hill's, and they also had hard with the GSC. Bandon, strong local competition in Australia with Bonds, Brass and Things, and they tried to rebrand, but they lost touch with their core customer. So the key lesson that we learned from that is, number one, don't overspend, don't do it too fast. Try to understand the local competition. Adapt the branding and marketing. What sometimes works in New Zealand doesn't always work in Australia. And manage the costs carefully, especially like rent and shipping, and avoid debt, basically. But there are some good news. So there are also some successful case of New Zealand company have made it in Australia. Michael Hill's is one. Michael Hill now has more store in Australia than they do in New Zealand. Their branding is consistent, the same everyday luxury, and they did some successful acquisition over there, and they use the omni-channel approach, so both online and offline with physical store. Biscoe was another one. They did a pure online play, so they didn't avoid that costly store expansion. So no physical store means lower risk, and they focus on niche by one of their brand, Rebel Sports. Okay, this one's, we'll skip that one. Okay. So Zuru did well from leveraging social media. So I think we talked about TikTok and social media. They did really well with that, and then they partner with the big retailers over there like Kmart and Big W. Allbirds, they really resonate with the eco-friendly brand that resonate with the green consumers over there, and also their direct-to-consumer approach avoided the reliance on stores. So the key takeaways from that is you adapt without losing your core identity. Start small, test the market, avoid overexpansion, partner with local retailers, and target a niche. So let's talk about the tech stack if you want to be selling and shipping in Australia. So Shopify, in terms of the selling platform, Shopify is still by far the most popular platform in Australia, followed by WooCommerce and Squarespace. And in terms of marketplaces, eBay and Amazon is probably the most prominent over there. Temu, which we hear from later on, is up and coming, and they're making a huge impact over there. And then you got some more specific like JB Hi-Fi, the Iconics, which is JB Hi-Fi is in the electronic product, and the Iconic is in the fashion industry. And then the carrier, the most popular carriers in Australia is Australia Post, AMX, Couriers Please, TNT, that does all your domestic under 25 kg packages, and then you got the like of Allied that does your over 25 kg packages, and then you got the like of FedEx that is international small packages. So you can imagine when you are selling on all these platforms and you're using all these different carriers, it's quite complicated to manage all that. So that's where Zappy come in. So Zappy basically, it's a middleware that sits between those systems. It provides shipping automation. It syncs all your orders from all your selling platforms, and basically pass the order from your shipping platform to the carrier, and also does return as well. So we heard about payments from Jin before. So the most popular payment system in Australia is still credit cards, which I think WorldFirst could help you guys with. That is, we recommend that you accept local payment and not try to convert, not try to do dynamic conversion. And PayPal is another good, still very popular in Australia. And then you got the buy now, pay later platform like Afterpay if you want to, especially if you want to sell to the millennial market. And in terms of compliances, we heard from Avalara before about tariff, tax calculation, and we're actually talking to Avalara at the moment. Zappy is going to integrate with them, so when you send, every time you send an item to overseas, we could do the tariff calculation inside Zappy. And then in terms of marketing, Google, Meta, and TikTok, it's the most popular marketing source. So in terms of selling, the top sellers are still fashion, health, electronics. It's probably the three top sellers. And then home, I think, followed by home. But yeah, do your research on your demand on your product in Australia. Start small, test the market. Localize your content. Like for example, in New Zealand we call jandals jandal, but in Australia they call jandal thorn. So stuff like that. And I know we talked about, whether we need to set up a local company in Australia or not. I think if you are selling directly from New Zealand and if you're shipping from New Zealand, you probably don't need to set up a local company. But when you hit certain threshold, then you will have to. But also Australian will more likely to buy from you if you have a local presence. If you have a local company, you have a local company address, and you have local support. It's all about building trust, and I think the Australian will be more likely to buy from you if you have a local presence. And then again, for your website, we recommend using .com.au. That is better for your SEO, and also for again building that trust. People like Australian like to buy from a website that have a .com.au, and so if you do want to go down that route, if you want to buy a .com.au domain name, you do need to register a business in Australia. So you do need an ACN or ABN number to buy the .com.au domain names. And then also leverage on marketplaces, like Temu. So 80% of consumer expect delivery within 3 days in Australia. So if on your website you're saying that you deliver in 5 days, most likely they would not buy, and they would abandon the shopping cart. So if you're selling something small, we recommend express service. So we can do express service directly from New Zealand to Australia, and most of the time you can get there within 3 days. So most of the time you can get there faster than if you would send something domestically in Australia. But if you are selling something larger, I would recommend maybe looking at a local 3PL in Australia. So Zappy do partner with a number of 3PLs in Australia. Just give you an example, we come across this customer, they sell 3D printed furnitures. So something like that is not heavy, but they're quite bulky. So to ship from New Zealand to Australia is very expensive. And so what they do is they are now talking to one of our 3PL in Australia and looking at perhaps setting up one of the 3D printer inside one of the 3PL. So when they get the order, they will get it printed in Australia instead of printed in New Zealand, and then they will just get it shipped locally. T-shirt is another good business, so we've got quite a few T-shirt clients, and again, those 3PL can print those T-shirts for you as well. So you don't have to stock up a lot of different SKU. You just have some blank T-shirts in stock, and they can print the design for you when you get the order. And the number one cause of delay is incorrect address. So you can use a system like Zappy to validate your address before you send the stuff out. And also use a system like Zappy to fill out your custom declaration to avoid delay. Mark your shipment as NZAUCER for faster custom clearance, and avoid sending bio-risk items, because those items will get stopped and delayed. So 49% of shoppers abandon their cart due to high shipping costs. So you can leverage aggregator like Zappy to access our bulk buying discount. So it's like Jin, how Jin they buys the Forex in bulk from banks and they sell it to you at a cheaper rate. So that's basically what we do. We buy the courier rate in bulk from the courier, and we sell them to you at a discount. So that's what we do. And also, Zappy would be able to offer multiple carrier option at checkout as well. And it's all about managing your customer expectation, and because sometimes, you have to be transparent with your customer. If they want something fast, and they will have to pay the extra for express service. But if they want to choose a cheaper shipping option, then you have to let them know it's going to take longer. So it's all about giving customer that choice and just being managing that expectation. And then you can use a system like Zappy to optimize your packaging size, because carrier would charge you not just based on weight, they will charge you on the size of your package. So like I bought something from Amazon this big, and they send it to me in the box this big. So it's cost you to ship air, and also Zappy able to allow you to ship from multiple locations. So you can always choose to ship from, if you do have multiple warehouses, you can always ship from the nearest location to the customer to save you on the shipping fee. So 65% of shopper abandons the cart due to lack of clear policy on returns. So you want to have a very clear return policy on your website. Offer customer hassle-free return, don't charge them a return fee, provide instant refund in local currency. Prepay return label is another one that Zappy could offer. So when you send something out to a customer, include a return label for the easy return of the product. And this way you build trust with the customer, and we don't charge you for the label if it's not get used. But it just shows the customer you are being considerate, and also Zappy's got a branded return portal. You can sort of use that as to find out why a customer is returning the product, and try to offer them an alternative, especially if it's fashion. If they return it because it's the wrong size, and you could offer them a different size. Try to turn a negative customer experience to a positive one, and turning return into return customers. 54% of consumer consider tracking being very or extremely important. 88% of customer wants SMS and email tracking updates. So as you can see from the video, Zappy could provide a branded tracking update for your customer, again being transparent and manage the customer expectation. So I'll give you an example of Lego. I'm a Lego fan myself, so I bought some Lego from lego.com. They send me a tracking link for my item. I click on it. It takes me to a carrier website where I actually have to copy and paste the number into the field to track my item. So that wasn't a great experience and wasn't something that I expected from someone like lego.com. You know, I expected that the shopping experience that should be a branded, the tracking page will be branded as Lego with Lego color, and I shouldn't have to copy and paste the tracking number. So we talked about payment. So like in Australia, like I said, credit card is the most popular payment method, PayPal, and then buy now, pay laters, and offer the AUD pricing, avoid dynamic conversion fees, and use multi-currency payment gateway. And in terms of fraud prevention, use tools like Stripe, Radar, Signified. Marketing, target Australian keywords, and I think you can use SME Rush to find Australian keywords. Run Australian focused campaign. Again, localized contents, localized promotion, local influencers. Use .com.au domain. Use local web hosting for faster loading, and also for Google Analytics 4, have a separate Google account for that. In terms of legal, I think we heard from Andy early on. And Australia's consumer law is more strict than the New Zealand Consumer Guarantees Act. Product safety and standard is important, especially around toys, electrical goods. Also, Australia's got a Privacy Act similar to ours. You use SSL certificate for your website, GDPR data protection, and so on. So finally, I want to leave you with this thought. 70% of consumer makes buying decision based on emotion rather than rational factors. So those emotions is trust, transparency, and empathy. So trust is built by being transparent and empathize with customers. Being transparent is about, like Andy talked about before, try to avoid those fake reviews, being transparent, and transparent with your return policy, and being empathetic about returns. If someone bought something, they need to return it, being helpful, make the return process easy for them. It's all about building trust, because when you're a new brand going into a new country, when you don't have a lot of that history, people need to trust you, and you need to build that trust. And I think AI is great, but it can't replace that emotion. Thank you.
Saving the best for last, a session that's been generating a lot of buzz. Whether you see Temu as an opportunity, a disruptor, or a dangerously good place to shop at 2 a.m. like me, one thing's clear, they're not slowing down. We're really excited to welcome Chen, Senior Product Manager from Temu, to share the inside story on how they're expanding into New Zealand and Australia and what that means for local sellers. This session, the Temu Local Seller Recruitment Program, is all about how Kiwi brands can get on the platform, what's expected, and how to leverage Temu's massive reach. A bit of housekeeping. We're so grateful for Temu to be here today. We just ask that no one take pictures of the slide. It's a lot of really insightful information, but it is sensitive and for your eyes here today. So please give a warm welcome to Chen.
Thank you very much, Mila. Good afternoon, everyone, and thank you so much for being here. I know it's been an extremely long day, so I'm going to keep this brief, and then we can have questions at the end. We're more than happy to walk around and talk to each and every one of you. So my name is Chen, and I am the Senior Business Development Manager at Temu Australia, along with my colleague Richard Chen and Simon Zhang, who is in charge of logistics. Now, no doubt you guys all have heard of Temu. Just to raise your hands, how many people here have shopped on Temu before? Fantastic. Okay, now, how many of you who have shopped on Temu found it a pleasant surprise? Yeah? Like maybe, you just wanted to give it a go, you didn't know much about it, and you wanted to, test the waters, and you thought, hey, this is actually pretty cool. It's pretty fun, or, the products are, very good. It's quite a lot of value, and yeah. So I thought a lot of people like that I've actually talked to in just everyday walks of life have felt like that, and yes. So you're definitely not alone. Now today I'm going to give you a bit of an overview about our marketplace and what that means for you guys as local sellers. And I think you'd be surprised at how much value that we can provide, not just for you as buyers, so you can shop like a billionaire, but also as sellers, so you can sell like a billionaire. Now, we're going to start off with a bit of commentary about the general e-commerce market, and then about how we got to where we are now, and what that means for you guys. So, everybody here knows e-commerce, right? Like a lot of times, I'm thinking back about when I first got started. I was at Wayfair, and I was talking to this really old school furniture seller. And I was trying to convince him that, online's the way of the future, and people will be buying whole lounge sets, online. And he just wouldn't have it. He couldn't wrap his head around it, and he couldn't understand. He's like, oh, but Jen, people want to come into my store, and they want to sit down on the couch and lie on the bed. And I said, yes, mate, but, times are changing. And I spent a lot of time talking to him. And I don't exactly remember whether I convinced him or not, but I often find myself thinking about him and thinking about his business, whether he actually adapted and evolved with the changing times, and especially how did he go during COVID time? Did he have an online store, or did he just do nothing for 3 years? So the global e-commerce market is expected to surpass $8 trillion within the next 2 years. And $5.4 trillion of those dollars was spent on your phones, in front of the TV, at your kids' soccer game, just in bed, right? And around the same again was spent on online marketplaces. And I think that is an incredible number, an incredible opportunity for everybody here. With macroeconomic and geopolitical factors going on around that same time now, a lot of people are shifting towards a more cost of living centric mentality, right? And as we shift, consumers are shifting their purchasing behavior towards value as well. As you can see here, 70% of global consumers cite price and affordability as the most important factor affecting their purchasing decisions. Now, that is bolstered by the fact that previously, if you were to buy something from China, it probably take 2 months to get here. But now, it takes like 7 days, at most 2 weeks, to get to Australia, to get to New Zealand. So it's a lot of change, and there's a lot of opportunity. So what is Temu? Temu is an app-led online shopping platform that connects manufacturers directly to consumers to offer a vast array of products and exceptional value for customers, okay? Like 3 reasons why people are shopping on Temu. There's only 3 up here because like I could only fit 3 on the slide, right? But simply put, we make shopping fun. We make shopping fun, and like I mentioned before, we're an app-led business. We started off as an app. We're not a traditional online marketplace. Then once they started to build up, they started developing apps as an afterthought, right? I see Temu as like an Instagram or a TikTok, but with an add to cart button. People love shopping on Temu. We've gamified the reward system. People are spinning wheels to win discounts and pulling out vouchers, from envelopes, and just an endless scroll, endless search of products. Traditionally, on online marketplaces, it's all search-based. You go on eBay, you go on Amazon, you put in, in the search bar what you want, and then they will serve you all the things, that you search for. Whereas this, on Temu, as you're searching, it's an endless road to discovery. Have you ever been on YouTube where, you start on one video and then it's like, suggested video, and you go down that, and you do this, and you go down the YouTube rabbit hole. Next thing you know, it's 4 a.m, you got to get up in 2 hours, and you don't know what happened to the past 4 hours. That's exactly what Temu is, because there's always something new to discover, and there's always something new that is going to surprise you. And I'm going to give you 2 stories. One is I went to my boy's school. My eldest is in kindergarten. I was picking him up from school one day, and I was talking to his teacher, and she found out where I worked, and she was so excited. She's like, I got to show you. And she took me around the room. You see this? I got this from Temu. Oh, you see this? And it was like drawing cards and clay figures and all that kind of stuff. And it just made me really happy to see how much joy that shopping on Temu brought her, because a lot of times these teachers, they are spending their own money for the children, and she was able to get these incredible products at great value. And the other story I want to share was a few weeks ago, we were going to a conference on the Gold Coast, and we shared a cab with some guy, and we got talking, and he was saying, oh yeah, Temu, we love camping and we love Temu, and we would go camping with these 3 other couples, right? So they would play a game before going out. They would all set a budget of like $20, and then they would go and buy whatever you want up to $20 on Temu. And then they'll go camping, and in front of the fire after dinner, they'll pull out all the things that they brought out, and then they'll have a vote on who bought the best stuff on Temu for $20. And I was so amazed, and I absolutely loved that story. Different people interact with Temu in different ways. At the end of the day, we're here to create value for buyers and sellers, right? And a lot of people think, okay, value equates to money. Not all the time. It's about the search, the surprise, the wonderment, and the way your products make you feel when you use it, the way it makes other people feel when you give it to them. It's a whole journey. And like that whole holistic view of value is what we bring. At the end of the day, we have made shopping fun. And that is why people love us. Since launching in 2022, we've seen phenomenal growth. We were the #1 shopping app in the US in 2022. In the UK, in 23, #1 downloaded app, and I think last year we're the #1 downloaded app in Australia. And as of a couple of months ago, we're available in over 100 different countries around the world. In 23, we first did our Super Bowl ads during the Super Bowl, and last year we had 6 30-second blocks in last year's Super Bowl. If you guys know anything about Super Bowl advertising, that is a lot of money, a lot of money. And why do we do that? Because we wanted the whole world to know who we are, and we wanted to spread that joy to the whole world. Now, like we're a mighty force in e-commerce. And a lot of industry leaders have actually told me, you know, oh, hey, these guys, you guys are a disruptor, you know, you're going to change everything. And like, I heard his words, but I never really understood what he was talking about until now. I mean, look at these numbers, 529 million, you know, like over 100 different countries, #1 most downloaded app in 24 different countries. Now, the crazy thing is, we did this in 3 years. How long did it take our, you know, other online marketplaces to achieve, like, you know, what they have achieved? We did this in 3 years. Imagine what the next 3 years are going to look like, right? Amazing. So, what does that mean for you guys? Just a couple months ago, we opened up an Australian entity, and we opened up an Australian office. We're a small but growing team, and we wanted to partner with local sellers and local partners to, you know, create economic opportunities and to bring value and to really embed ourselves in the local retail ecosystem. And like I said, creating economic opportunities for local sellers. And we're here in New Zealand to do the same. Like, why sell on Temu? Because of everything that I just said. We're a training platform. You know, we're gonna help you get your first sale, cost efficient from the start. I'm gonna go into that a bit more later on, but it's a really personalized seller support. So right now, we don't have an open system where everybody can register. It's by invitation only. You give us your email addresses, we will whitelist that, and then we'll send you an invitation link, and then you can register. Right now, we don't want to just, you know, like let everybody come in, right? We're being very selective. We want to talk to you. We want to know about your business. You know, how can we help you? Once you've registered, it's a very bespoke service. We're going to give you a lot of support in terms of operations specialists. They're going to come in and help you register, help you onboard, help you list. If you need integration, we have integration partners, integration specialists, and they're going to come and try to help you do that. And after everything's all set up, we're going to get category managers and category experts, and they're going to come on and talk to you one-on-one and give you data and insights and playbooks from other regions and just try to help you make your first sale, as well as try to grow your overall sales. Now, fees. This is my favorite slide, right? I said I was going to talk about this. There's no fees. There's no fees, there's no commission, there's no deposit, there's no store fees, there's nothing, there's no hidden fees. It's open to everyone, like NZ registered, New Zealand Stock Warehouse, you have the trademarks and brand authority, you're going to have access to millions of monthly users, and like I said before, you're going to get dedicated people to help you. Now, this slide is category opportunities. Don't really worry about this too much. It's because we want everything. It's not just limited to that. We want everything. Whatever you have, we want it. But please, we want to talk to you. We want to engage with you. And but before that, I want to talk to you about where things stand in New Zealand at the moment. So right now, we do not have Temu New Zealand open for sellers. Okay, you're in New Zealand, you can buy whatever you want from Temu, no problem. But if you're a local seller and you want to jump on local New Zealand Temu, it's not open. But it is imminent. It is imminent. I don't know the exact date, but it's super soon. So my personal recommendation is you find us and you sign up now. You sign up now and get all your ducks lined up so that when it does open quite very soon, you can just, you know, hit the ground running. Okay. The other option, if you want to export to Australia, for example, you need an Australian business number, an ABN, and you need to partner with one of our 3PLs in Australia. So you can talk to our logistics specialist, Simon, here. We have a lot of 3PL partners in Australia. You can ship your products from New Zealand into Australia, and then you can register on the Australian Temu side, and then it'll just fulfill through that 3PL. So those are two current options available to you guys right now. You know, it doesn't matter what you choose. We're here to help you. We want you to register, and we want you, because there's nobody else on here right now, it's not even open. You guys have the inside track. It's a blue ocean right now, and you guys will be the first and only people selling what you're selling on Temu New Zealand. So we're here to answer any questions. Please come and talk to us. We would love to talk to you. Yeah, thank you so much.